One time. Oh, I'm at your side. Till the world hears your voice. Hello, hello, hello. Good evening and welcome to the Intentional Parenting Chat. I remain your host, Dima Nwobi, and it is my pleasure to be here again with you. Tonight on the show, we'll be looking at this menace of drug abuse, substance abuse by children. It's becoming so worrisome that even teenagers, pre-teenagers are, fast catching on with drug abuse and substance abuse. And so tonight on the show, I'd like to share with you some of my findings from the children. Sometimes we'll have children who are into substance abuse, drug abuse brought to the office. And when we talk with them, we're able to elicit what really led them to drug abuse. It's even surprising and kind of heartbreaking to know that some parents are even oblivious of what is happening. The other day I was asking them certain things in a forum where I spoke to parents, and none of them seem to know that substance abuse is fast becoming a worrisome thing in Nigeria among the young people. And so for tonight, let us discuss, why do you think that teenagers are taking to drug abuse these days? What really is leading them into this lifestyle? The other day when I read that about 2 million bottles of codeine has been consumed in Jigawa and Kano State, it broke my heart. I mean, if just 2 states we have that high rate of consumption of codeine, what will be happening in Nigeria and across Africa? And so this is a time for us as parents to rise up, to really understand what really is leading these young people to drug abuse. And I'll share with you some of my findings from the counseling room, from the therapy room, while working with some of these teenagers. It will interest you to know that, many a times when we discuss drug abuse and why we think that teenagers are going to that lifestyle, a lot of us as parents point our fingers to peer pressure. Peer pressure is really one of the cases, but it will interest you to know that most times, many of the children, many of those teenagers that go into drug abuse was not really because of peer pressure. Peer pressure aggravated to it, but many of them share with us that some of the reasons why they went into substance abuse was to escape from their parents. Wow. The first time I heard a teenager share that with me, I was thrown back. Escape from your parents? I sought to know, and this young boy started explaining to me how the father was becoming a pain in the neck, with constant shoutings, with constant reprimanding him constantly, with constantly on his case. And so he said that he took to drug abuse as a coping mechanism. He actually needed something that would just make him literally forget his father and his harsh and strict ways for some time. And so some of these teenagers are going into drug abuse as a coping mechanism. Some of them because probably they are in school and then the work is they're not understanding the curriculum or what they are being taught. The handlers in their lives, their parents, their teachers are harsh with them, and so they take this substance just as a coping mechanism, so to be able to cope. And so that is why it is important that for us as parents, we do not just make every time we spend with our children being a time of correction, being a time when we want to correct something, being a time when we want to shout, back orders at them. If every time your child is spending with you, the child doesn't look forward to it, some of them are taken into drug abuse because of coping mechanism. Another one that will interest you is when a young boy said to me that he took to codeine because he wanted to get his parents' attention. So that is one of the reasons why those young people are going into drug abuse, to get back at their parents. Thank you everyone for joining me. We are discussing why our teenagers are getting hooked up on drugs, why they are getting hooked up on substance abuse. And so if you've ever had any interaction with any young person who is abusing drugs and using it wrongly, you may want to share with us your findings. Okay, So I was sharing with us that one of the boys looked at me and said, why I started taking codeine was not really because my friends were taking it. Yes, my friends were taking it, but what really led me to taking it was I wanted to get back to my father. And you know, we went further and we started to talk. This boy said that he rarely sees his parents, they rarely have time to talk with him. And so when he had a case about another student in his school who almost committed suicide, yeah, this case will interest you. So this young boy attempted suicide as a way to get his parents' attention, and thank God he was averted. He didn't end up killing himself. His parents happened into the room and he was rushed to the hospital. So on this case that I'm discussing with you now, the young boy said that, oh, when this friend of his tried committing suicide, he saw how that brought his parents to him. He saw how everybody was running around him, giving him attention and all of that. So he decided to join his friends and start taking codeine, tramadol, and every like of drugs that were not prescribed just to get back at his parents. Imagine when a child has to take on a habit that would destroy him just to get attention. So as parents, we need to be involved in our children's life. How much are you involved in your children's life? Is every time you're spending with your child being time that you want to shout at him, want to correct him? This young boy would have lost his life if that his mother didn't enter his room on time. He would have just hung himself and died, all because he wanted to get the attention of his parents. So as parents, I need us to sit up. I need us to realize that those children are craving for our attention. They need us to be part of their lives. They need us they need to know that we love them, that we're not just about their grades, we're not just about their good behavior, we're not just about coming in contact with them when we want to correct them. They need to feel loved. And so we're discussing why our teenagers are taking to drug abuse. Peer pressure is another reason why they take to drug abuse, but not just peer pressure on its own. For some of them, their esteem have been battered, and so when they see their friends doing the stuff, they want to identify with their friends, and so you know they take they join them. It's like if you cannot beat them, you join them. That is one of the reasons why those young people are taken to drug abuse. You need to understand that if you have a child who is a preteen or a teenager, they're at this stage in their life where they're trying to understand themselves. They're at this stage in their life where they're struggling with their identity. Let me tell you something. If you ever grew up, you will understand that growing up is not easy. A lot of things are happening. Let's forget about the body changes that is happening to you. Even around the world, you suddenly emerging into a young adult. And you know, the way society has it, the way parents have it, we have so much expectation of those children. And this is a young child who is just leaving the preteen and heading towards teenage. And so with all these expectations we have of them, we kind of end up confusing them. So they are at this stage where they are questioning things. They are even questioning their existence. They are even questioning, what am I here for? And so if we do not give them the right direction, they can fall into peer pressure and resort to substance or drug abuse. So we need to, as parents, validate our children regularly. We need to always speak to their self-worth. We need to make them feel that they are somebody. We need to make them feel that they are worthy. We need to preserve their sanity. Because if we don't do this, they might be pressured from outside, trying to identify with their peers, trying to seek validation outside, trying to show a sense of worth that they can do something. Is part of the reasons why our young people are going into drug abuse. Another reason why they're going into drug abuse is curiosity. You know, all of us, we're all curious, and at this stage in their life, they're curious. And so the curiosity can go bad and lead them to even try to, you know, take a sniff or even take a sip and try to see how it goes. And you know one thing, it's okay that they would even venture into drug abuse due to curiosity, but if they have an open communication system with you as the parent at home, they will be able to confide in you. And if your child has ever attempted any bad behavior out of curiosity but does not feel safe talking to you about it, then that means you're setting that child up. Because even if friends pressure him, even if he wants to validate himself, even for whatever reason, he curiously attempts to try out any substance or abuse any drug, if your child understands that daddy will listen to me, mommy will listen to me, and not scream and not shout and not wail and not flog and not rain all sorts of words on me, the child will open up to you, and there you can help him. So what are you doing about it? So if your child is hooked on drugs, it's not a time for you to start shouting, hey, you will not kill me, oh, I didn't kill my father. No, that's not a time for it. That is the time that the child needs love the more. That is the time you should show the child love. So if you have any child that you're suspecting as it's using drugs or is in substance abuse, please don't do what Mr. Agbabiaka did. So Mr. Agbabiaka found out that his son was high on codeine, and what did he do? He withdrew his son from school. And he kept him at home. So for him, his own reasoning was that, oh, since you want to disgrace our family in school, you had better come back and sit at home. Maybe you are not ready to make something out of your future. Maybe you are not ready to become somebody. I don't think Mr. Agbabiaka did the right thing. If you suspect that your child is keeping wrong company, and I need to even let you know that one of the young people we worked with in the office, he got hooked on drugs from friends. And how did he do it? From sleepover nights. Please, parents, I know you want your children to socialize. I know you want your children to interact with their friends, but please, you must have a checklist. Before you release your child into any environment, you must do your due diligence. You must find out the values of the family that you're releasing your child to. It's not enough that your child wants to go hang out with his friends or want to go and do sleepover. This certain young boy was introduced to substance abuse during sleepover nights. So his parents would drop him over, they were doing sleepover, and from there he was introduced to drugs, and he couldn't share it with his parents. So as a parent, what system do you have in place to check out the environment that you're leaving your children with? The association that your child is mingling with is very important. So if you ever suspect that your child is acting funny, or your child who used to be so outspoken is no more that outspoken, or you're noticing from some behavioral traits in your child that is abnormal, it's not time for you to get scared. It just should make you be more observant, to look out. What is my child really into? Try to befriend the child. That is the time to show the child love. Give your child overdose of love. Make deposit into his emotional bank. Try to get him to a place. Try to build rapport with that child. Because I tell you, in the presence of good rapport, that child will open up to you and let you into his life and let you into his secrets. And please, if you have a child who is hooked on drugs already, or you are suspecting is on drugs, please, while you're praying for the child, while you're concerned about the child, quickly get a therapist for the child. You can reach out to me, send me a mail, yes. You can send me a chat, slide into my DM and send me a chat, and I will recommend to you therapists that can work with your child. I can also work with the child, but if you want someone else, I can recommend someone with the family systems engineering certification that will help you with your child. Don't let drugs destroy your children. Do not let drugs, shortchange your child of the future that your child can have. And so this is the Intentional Parenting Chat, where I come 3 times every week to share with you tips on how to love, lead, and influence your children with ease. You will agree with me that parenting is a serious job. It is a tough job, and we cannot leave it to chance. That is why if you want to receive more tips from me, please click on the link and connect with me outside here. This is how much you can take on the show. I am very excited that you always show up and turn up every time 8 p.m. on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Saturdays for this show. If you have picked anything from today's episode and you would like to share with your friends and family, please click on the share button, because every child that we empower, you are empowering your own children. And let me tell you something. Any child that is endangered out there, your own child is also endangered. Save your child by saving the other children. And let's say no to drugs, even as we as parents rise up to the occasion and protect our children from drug and substance abuse. If there are any parenting challenges you have or any questions you would like for me to treat on the show, please send it to me on my email and I will gladly do that. Until I come your way again on Saturday, keep being an incredible parent. Keep loving, leading, and influencing your children intentionally. Bye.